A quick question for you, MJ.
Sure.
Let's talk about the pleasures that you experience living the lifestyle of an independent film producer.
Well, the lifestyle of an independent film producer is very different than a regular film producer. I don't own a Lamborghini. In fact, I don't own much. I think I own the belt and the pants I'm wearing, if they're not out on credit as collateral. But what you do get as an independent filmmaker are insanely beautiful memories that you can't really get anywhere else because no other industry is as crazy. All kinds of memories just on my last film. The most vivid that comes to mind is Hironobu, who's just sitting next to me here. Was editing the film at his apartment. I actually brought my computer to his house and he was editing. And one night I went over to his place to just see progress. And he's got a 3-year-old daughter who was singing the opening song to our film, which happens to be I Hate Everything About You by 3 Days Grace, which is not a very happy song that you usually get on the Treehouse Network. So I'm just like, you kind of walk in and you're like, And then she's like, Emoji, I have this song I want you to hear. And she's singing and I'm like, oh my God, I'm an evil, evil man. I'm going to burn in hell for a very, very long time. I mean, same situation. This little girl, we were shooting a scene where somebody gets shot in the film. And, you know, Toronto's a wonderful city that you can do a shootout scene right in the back alley and no one will say anything. We're just outside and, you know, Anthony's playing the part and I'm playing the part of the guy getting shot. And we're just hanging out in the alley behind my apartment. And Anthony's walking by blasting bullets into my body and I fall on the floor dead. Meanwhile, Hironobu's filming all this. His daughter's up in my apartment with my girlfriend and they're playing and they're dancing, you know, and I come back all bloodied up. She's like, hi, MJ. I'm like, hi. Yeah, and I go change my clothes. Like, nowhere else on the planet can you get memories like this. I mean, when we make films, because we have such an extraordinarily low budget, we have to, you know, use what we have. And in this case, you know, I can't really afford a hotel for everybody coming from Montreal. So we kind of all sleep in one apartment. When you have a 2-bedroom apartment, you have a sofa bed and 2 beds, and you're 9 people, you kind of get cozy.
Can you elaborate on that?
You know, actors sleeping with other actors. Like, sleeping as in the, not the kind of way, right? Just sleeping as in I'm sleeping, not as in sleeping with. You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting because then you figure out who snores, who releases gaseous elements while they sleep, because you don't want me to say the other bad F word. So, you know, you realize it's just this. I think once you've slept in the same room, in fact, same bed as someone, you kind of grow really uncomfortably close to them, as some people in this room have slept together. Not more kind of thing, right? So, what? I mean, the memories of just, you know, my bed, I got Anthony sleeping next to me, I've got Alex on the floor on an air mat, you know, it's just, and then the first thing Anthony says in the morning to Alex, not good morning, how did you sleep? He's like, Alex, did you wash your behind? For the sheer reason that this is how we live our life. This is how fun it is, you know, just because we like to bug each other and it's like being kids again, you know, and except we go and make movies at very bizarre times of the day.
Speaking of your movies, there's something very significant about your first movie, The Meatball Story.
Yes.
And to my understanding, it's a first of its kind.
It is. It's the first all-digital, all black and white film in the history of the world. Now, George Lucas had the first all-digital film in Star Wars Episode 1, I believe. That cost something ridiculous like $300 million. The Meatball Story cost $300. You know, and from what I'm being told by those who've seen both, mine is significantly better. So up yours, George Lucas, up yours.
And on that note, why don't we move on to talk a little bit about your other movie, Truant Cafe?
Yes. Truant Cafe is it's a very nice film, I think. I'm not just saying that because I made it. It's inspired by true events, and I think that it's really my first exploration into a darker topic with non-comedy involved in it. It's a very serious film. It's a very heavy film. I think that it was very well made. The editing style is very unique. I have to thank Hidenobu for that. It's an idea I had to have a lot of multi-frame editing, basically a lot of split screens, three different shots in one frame going on screen at the same time. It's rare you see that in films. You see it a little bit on TV now, but not to the extent that we do it in Truant Cafe, and not used in the same way and as significantly. So again, I think that's also a first. I think it's a very unique style. You know, I like to call it the Japanese style, because the Japanese see things 25 years in the future. So in 25 years, maybe films will be edited like this, or hopefully only mine. So, you know, I'll copyright and trademark the editing style and become rich, just like George Lucas. He was a very nice man.
We've talked a little bit about the lifestyle and some of the obstacles you've had to overcome to be an independent filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about some of the sacrifices you've had to make and are still making today.
There's a lot of sacrifices. One of them is social life. I don't have one. You have to be a special kind of crazy to do what we do. You know, when we shot Truant Cafe, we were waking up at midnight to go on to set at 3 a.m., to shoot till noon, to go back to bed, to do it again the next day. You know, and then once all that is done, well, you have like 20 hours of raw footage that I don't know where it came from because we had no time. You have to start piecing all that together. And after a year of pretty much working on this day in, day out, it's finished, and you have no spare time. You have virtually no money that goes on to anything else but that. You know, when you don't get a budget, or you don't even bother to go through all the headaches it takes to apply for some pathetic government grant, you know, that you're going to get 2 years after you apply for it, you're basically going out of pocket. You're working extra hours. You're doing overtime to be able to make your film. So, I mean, sometimes it hurts the wallet. Sometimes it hurts a lot of other things, because, you know, you've got a girlfriend who sometimes doesn't understand why you're working so many hours on a film that people sometimes may not understand, you know. And then you have all the people going, are you sure you want to do this? Are you making any money doing this? You know, like, what are you getting? What's going to happen once it's done? You know, that's a lot of I get a lot of questions like that. Well, okay, great, you want to shoot a film, but what are you going to do with it once it's done? You know, my concern first is getting it done. Once it's done, I'll worry about it then. So I think more than the money and more than the lack of social life, I think it's the lack of understanding. Because unless you do what we do, people don't really understand it. And today, I think they started understanding it after the screening. They see where all the hard work is gone, but I don't think they understand it to the extent that those who were involved in the process understand it.
You screened both films in one day, which is a very rare event, even in independent filmmaking. What are some of the feelings you took with you after both films had finally screened, finally edited?
Relief. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept since Wednesday, and Anthony can probably attest to that. You know, because you're just kind of scrambling, going, no matter how ready you think you are, you're not. No matter how well you say you're going to do, or you feel you're going to do, you still get butterflies. We all did today. You know, this morning I asked Alex, are you nervous? He's like, no, I'm fine. As the lights went down to start the film, in the first 10 minutes, he had goosebumps. He was getting hot. That's the way it is. No matter how ready or how good you think the film... I mean, I've seen both films upwards of 80 times. They're really quite boring after all that time. But the first 10 times you see them, they're really good. So buy the DVD. Buy two, in fact. Give one for Christmas. Makes a great gift. What? It's my movies.